Hello, this is the introduction to the first project in Design Plus Typography 2, which is called the Type and Communication Series, where you'll be making a series of 3 posters. Um, this is a kind of a interesting, complex project where it's going to be all type, and you're going to watch or you're going to choose one of 3 monologues, and then you're going to use that for as the basis for your poster series. Um, One of the interesting things that you're going to kind of take away from this project is the idea of expressive typography. And we're going to give you some rules for each of the 3 posters. And then those rules are what you'll follow for parts A, B, and C. So the first part is what you're going to do is you're going to choose a monologue. These 3 are the links to the monologues, and I'm going to play them each for you in this intro video, and then you can also watch them yourself.
Was a man of infinite numbers, endless calculations, and remarkably few words. And his wristwatch said even less. Every weekday, for 12 years, Harold would brush each of his 32 teeth 76 times. 38 times back and forth, 38 times up and down. Every weekday for...
So I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm just going to kind of give you an idea so we can sort of discuss each one individually. And here's the second one.
This is Joe Harriman.
Oops.
I'm about to reveal a snoring fix that most women over 40 don't know.
I think I pressed the wrong button. Hold tight. I did.
This is Joe Harriman, Lynn Taylor. No Eastmans today, unfortunately. They're all back in the lab.
It's a wonderful facility.
Well, technology is a glittering lure. But there's the rare occasion when the public can be engaged on a level beyond flash, if they have a sentimental bond with the product. My first job, I was in-house at a fur company with this old pro copywriter, Greek, named Teddy. And Teddy told me the most important idea in advertising is new. Creates an itch.
So that's the second one. And then the third one is the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
It is important to note that suddenly, and against all probability, a sperm whale had been called into existence several miles above the surface of an alien planet. Since this is not a naturally tenable position for a whale, this innocent creature had very little time to come to terms with its identity. This is what it thought as it fell.
Ah! Whoa! What's happening? Who am I? Why am I here? What's my purpose in life? What do I mean by who am I?
So as you can tell from all 3 of those monologues, is they're all very different. The first one is very ordered, structured, rigid. There's numbers. The main character has a little bit of OCD. Stranger Than Fiction is actually a movie if you wanted to watch the whole movie, but you only have to focus on the small monologue part of it. Mad Men, if you're not familiar with that series, it's a series set in the 60s about an advertising agency. So it's an advertising pitch for I think the slide carousel. And if once you watch the whole thing, you'll kind of get a feeling of nostalgia, memory, that kind of thing. And then The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is also another movie, craziness, there's motion, there's kind of this fantasy idea of a whale falling out of the sky. And if you watch the whole thing, it's pretty funny. So there's also humor. So I want you to think about those 3 things. Or, I would definitely watch all 3 of those little clips. They're maybe 2 to 3 minutes long. And just think about, how does it make you feel? What does it make you think about? What colors come to mind? What typefaces come to mind? Because in each of the 3 series, you are going to be using all the text, and all the text is in this file that I just downloaded, and you should download this too. I'm just going to open it really quick so you can see, this is the monologue for Stranger Than Fiction, so you have to use every single bit of this text, as well as the name of the monologue, and in this case, the narrator. So download that. But this is sort of a three-part project. The first project is you are to, in all cases, work with a modular or columnar grid, and you are going to display the type as text and create a dynamic composition. So you want it to be readable, accessible. You still want to think about visual hierarchy, typographic hierarchy, color, position on the page. There's no limit to typefaces, type styles, type sizes, but it needs to emulate the feel of the monologue, and you need to use all the text, and it has to be readable. Part B is type as image. So you still have to use all the text, but the composition can be a little bit more chaotic, crazy. You don't necessarily have to be able to read all the text. You can use opacity and effects and put the type on a path and kind of however you need to do it to, again, convey the feeling of the monologue that you chose. And then part C is sort of a combination of type as text plus image. You have to be able to read it, but it can be a little bit more chaotic than, say, part A. So you'll watch all three monologues, you'll choose a monologue, and then, you'll follow along with the specifications and the instructions and all that kind of stuff, which I won't go into. I've also posted the video that I made for type 1, how to set up a modular grid. You can use modular grid, you can use columns, that's up to you. You can use InDesign or Illustrator. I will say, if they both will have their perks and their, best practices, but that's just going to be up to you which one you decide to use. And then you'll just be setting these up at 11 by 17 portrait. I have posted some examples, so you can kind of look at these examples, part A, part B, part C, just to kind of see how former students have handled this. You can see different color, but in all of these, you can see that in the end, you're coming up with a series. These posters should feel like they are coming from they're a family, they're a set. They should all be distinctively different in the way that you treat the typography, but the color palette should be the same, the typefaces should be the same, all that kind of stuff. So just some examples to look at for reference, but I think, you'll have a lot of fun with this project. It is actually, it's more challenging than you think, but I think you can also be super creative with this as well. So after you watch the videos and read through the project statement, hit me up if you have any questions.